You are listening to Belly Birth Beyond with Pelvic Floor Mama. I'm your host, Becca Boeving, pelvic rehab certified coach and mom of two. Welcome to the safe space where no topics of motherhood are off limits and judgment is left at the door. Too many mamas are dismissed when they've got valid concerns. If you're sick of hearing that's normal when it feels otherwise, keep listening. Third trimester, and now it's preparing for postpartum. But instead of the typical postpartum preparation, I want you to be supported throughout your postpartum journey. So often I feel like during postpartum prep, like when we think of third trimester, we're prepping things for the baby, we're getting the clothes ready, nursery ready, diaper caddies out, things that are easily accessible. And sometimes we forget about you. What are things that you are going to need? How can we support you as the mom postpartum? Because throughout your whole pregnancy, you're doted on, you're taken care of. Everyone has all these questions and want to support you. But then sometimes your baby comes and everything turns into the baby. What does the baby need? How can we help the baby? And you aren't necessarily as supported as I feel like you should be. And maybe you are. Maybe you have an amazing support system and it's already in place. And I am like so envious and I love that for you. I really do. But for those who are like, wow, maybe I do need to think about this. What can I do to be supported and to feel helped? And so typical preparing, right? The meals, diaper stations. Maybe you're thinking about rules for visiting and who's going to be able to visit, when they can visit. Maybe you're thinking about making like padsicles or freezing things so that way you can have some things to help yourself heal postpartum. All great things. Not saying you should not be doing these, but let's take it a step further. Let's help you feel prepared and have an easier transition into postpartum, whether it's your first one or your fifth one. So that way you can feel supported and just have less of that stress. So maybe we can eliminate a little bit of the postpartum depression, a little bit of the postpartum anxiety, and be able to just enjoy that newborn stage and that time that you have as the new member of your family comes to join you. One of the things that you can do is talk with your partner about managing tasks, right? So if you listened 2 episodes ago, it was Childproofing Your Marriage with Michelle. She is amazing. If you did not listen to it, go listen to it. And she has her own podcast. It's the Marriage and Motherhood podcast. It's amazing. She's just such a wealth of knowledge. And I feel like she's talking directly to me all the time. But that can be really helpful, is just managing tasks that you and your partner are going to do or take on. For instance, like your partner, can he help make sure your water's filled all the time? Make sure you have water at all the stations where you're going to be sitting, maybe little snack things. If you have other children, who is going to like do bedtime, or if they get up in the middle of the night, like maybe these are things you've already talked about, but managing tasks between your partner and how you can help this. So that way, when the time comes, you guys already know the expectations and there is no frustration. So talking about it before exhaustion kicks in, before extra responsibility kicks in. So that way you know kind of what to expect and what you guys expect of each other during that time. This might be a time where your partner, maybe it's your first and your partner doesn't know how they can support you, because maybe you're going to breastfeed and nurse and baby's going to be with you a lot of the time, because that's what happens when we have babies, is they are with mom a lot of the time. So how can your partner help you? What can that look like? So just some conversations to have. Maybe you've already had them. And if you do, give yourself a pat on the back. That is amazing, because not everyone has these. And I think that's important to be able to talk about. Some other things are preparing to support your recovery and your healing. So we talked about like having the pads, a peri bottle, those types of things to help support you. But some ways that you can support your body and heal your body. Some of those things you can learn now. So that way, when you are in the midst of postpartum, you're in the midst of lack of sleep and nursing and holding your child and trying to learn a schedule or just get a feel for everything, you already have this understanding and this education. What I mean by that is, so often moms are told, oh, a 6-week checkup, we'll just see how everything's going and you'll get the all clear. No one's ever actually cleared at 6 weeks. Okay. There's not like a magic number or anything that happens then. But some things that you can do, or things that take place even before those 6 weeks, are you are constantly doing things. You are getting up off the couch, you're walking, maybe you're going up the stairs, maybe you go for walks outside, maybe you have another child at home that you're lifting, or you're lifting the car seat, and man, is that car seat heavy now that you got a baby in there. So you're doing things before the 6-week mark, but you're not necessarily doing anything to help support your body or heal your body except sitting and resting, which is great. You should be sitting and resting. But you also need to know how to support yourself during those early times. Like when you go to stand up, are you engaging your core and your pelvic floor to help support your body when you stand, to limit prolapse and pain and leaking and incontinence? That's a simple step that you can start doing while you're pregnant, something you should be doing while you're pregnant anyway. So it becomes a habit. But a lot of times when postpartum comes around, we just expect our body to be able to do what our body's supposed to do, right? Like, oh, we had a baby and now everything's supposed to do its thing. It doesn't need any help. It doesn't need any attention. We're just gonna heal on our own. It just takes some time. While some of that is true, you just had a baby and you had that baby. You grew that baby for upwards of 10 months. And so your body adapted and changed and for 10 months. And now you had that baby and your body is now trying to adapt and change and figure out how it's supposed to function without having that baby. And so sometimes that like mind, muscle, body connection is not there. And this happens almost all the time. So if you don't reconnect with your body after giving birth by doing things as simple as breathing, just start breathing again. Make sure when you are breathing, your belly is rising, your chest is rising on your inhale, and then just relaxing, just focusing on breathing. That is step one. You can start doing that in the hospital. And then step two would be engage your core or get your core to work again. Because as I've talked with moms over the last several weeks, actually, how humbling postpartum is when it comes to our strength, especially our core. It is so unbelievably humbling with how little core strength and control we have. So after you have your baby, after you reconnect with some breathing, and as you're supporting yourself when you stand up and when you pick things up, like a car seat or the baby or another toddler or child or the diaper bag, you are engaging your core, you're supporting your body, and you're reteaching your body, hey, this is where you're supposed to work. You need to be doing this right now. That goes with your pelvic floor too. It's not just Kegels after birth. Oh my goodness, please don't just do Kegels after birth, because so often we're worried about like being loose after we have a baby, right? But a lot of times your pelvic floor is actually tight after you have a baby. There is tension in your pelvic floor. And that is where like pain, incontinence, and pain with sex, all those things come into play. So yes, you need your pelvic floor to support you when you stand up, when you pick up the diaper bag, when you grab the baby, when when you're doing these things, you do need your pelvic floor to engage and support you. But you also need to be able to relax your pelvic floor. So doing simple mobility movements and things early on, especially when you're holding a baby. If you've already had a baby, maybe you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've been holding a baby, nursing a baby for hours and hours and hours every single day. Your back is stiff, your shoulders hurt. You will feel like you've worked your arms for like weeks at a time. You're just so tired and sore. So supporting those muscles in that early time can really help your body feel better and heal your body too. So by just doing like simple things throughout the day can really help you. So just knowing how you can help with the healing process and how you can ease yourself back into simple movements like walking. Like maybe you do want to get back to working out again. Maybe you want to be a runner. Maybe you are a runner and you want to get back to that too. So instead of going from 0 to 100, easing into these types of things. If you're someone who's like, I've never worked out, I don't want to work out, but you still want to have a good quality of life, you still want to feel good in your body, reconnecting with your body and doing some simple movement like that can be really helpful. This is where like the Postpartum Momma Challenge comes into play. The Postpartum Momma Challenge is a great resource for returning to just healing your body, reconnecting with your body, and then developing strength the right way without hurting yourself, without harming your pelvic floor, without causing pain, and actually overcoming pain. It's 8 weeks. It's something that you can start 1 to 2 weeks after you give birth. And it's just very simple but intentional movement to help you heal. And it kind of progresses from there. I'll put that in the show notes if you're interested. But shifting to preparing for your body, okay? So that's one way, right? Your healing journey. The other way is breastfeeding. If you do plan to breastfeed, talking to an IBCLC right now, talking to someone to help support you before you give birth is so important. Because you can learn a lot of things before baby comes. So when baby is here, you're not struggling. You're not having a difficult time, or maybe you are having a difficult time, but you have those resources and those people in play or those things in play to help support you throughout that journey. Because every baby is so different. Every experience is so different, and everybody's breastfeeding journey is different. I had 2 different babies, and their journeys were so different. And I remember after the first one, I thought that it would, like, I don't know what I thought about breastfeeding because I didn't know what to do. I couldn't get him to latch. It wasn't a good latch. It was painful. And if you have a painful latch, it is not a good latch. Something is wrong. So next week on this episode or on this podcast, we will be talking with Jamie, who is with Little Better Lactation. She's going to talk all about breastfeeding and things that you can do to help support your journey and have a better experience when it comes to nursing, if that is something that you want. So tune in next week to that one. I think it'll be really important. It was an amazing interview. She has so much insight and information regarding it. And as you know, like pregnancy pain is not normal. Pain when you nurse is not normal. Pain in your body is not normal. It's just your body's way of telling you something's wrong or it needs help. And I think we need to reiterate that as often as we possibly can, especially to moms, because we're just told it's normal. We have painful periods. We have painful pregnancies. We have painful postpartum experiences. We have pain with sex and we never talk about it because we think it's just what it is after we have babies. It's not. And we need to learn that now. So that brings me into too, when you are postpartum, like things to prepare, things that you can do postpartum. If you do end up having a vaginal birth, for instance, and healing in that way, that just simply supporting yourself throughout daily movement is really important, whether you had a vaginal birth or a cesarean. But if you tear during a vaginal birth, that is important to be able to address your scar tissue down there, because that can affect how sex feels. It can affect how your pelvic floor functions. And so addressing that once you're fully healed is going to be important. So if you have someone in your area who's a pelvic floor specialist who you want to go see, maybe get on the books right now and go do that. If you're like, I don't know that I necessarily want to see somebody in person, but I want to do some virtual help or support, Postpartum Mama Challenge is great. The Ultimate Mama Bundle has the postpartum support, which is the 12 weeks. It does not have the challenge included, but it has that support of what you can do during those first 12 weeks and help support yourself. And it's continuously growing and becoming better of a program to kind of help you in your needs. So it is important to take care of you as well, not just focusing on the babies and the baby's needs and what diapers you have. You need these things too, but it's important to look forward and help you during this transition. Again, whether it's your first time or it's your fifth time, how can you and your partner and even your loved ones or your support or your village around you help support you? And when are you wanting that support? Do you want people to bring food over? Do you want to wait until you're 6 weeks for people to come over? Like, those things are important to discuss and find out what you and your partner want to do now. So postpartum preparation. Don't miss postpartum preparation. Think about these things so it can be a little bit easier, because once you're bringing that newborn home, struggling with sleep, a schedule, just getting through, it can be nice to already have some of these things in place so you can limit the tension in your body, physically, mentally, emotionally, in your relationship, those types of things, and just have a better, easier, smoother recovery experience. Again, physically, mentally, emotionally, all of the above. And if it's your first one, you may have no idea where to start or what to do. And that's okay too. That's by having just these simple conversations with your significant other, your loved ones, family, friends, whoever it may be, can help you throughout this, because ultimately it is your decision and you and your partner can make those decisions together. So I hope you have that support. I hope that just helps you think about some things that maybe you didn't think about before that could help you have a better experience. That's all this is about, is having a better experience and being able to have the best quality of life and being able to enjoy it instead of dread certain things, So sending you all so much love. I'm going to put some information in the show notes if you have them. I would love to hear some things that you have done to help prepare for your postpartum experience. Send me an email or send me a DM over on the Instagram and let me know some things that you did that have really helped support you, because it's been a couple years since I've been in the trenches of postpartum. And I think it would be so nice to be able to hear from moms things that have helped you, or things that people have done that have helped you, that we can share with others so that they can have that support and that knowledge too. That's what I love about this community, is being able to share all of those things that maybe we don't think about that have worked for you. So don't forget to tune in next week. We will be going over breastfeeding and things that you can do to help before your baby is born, or resources and things after your baby is born if you are already in that phase and you're already postpartum. So tune in there. Don't miss it. And I'm really excited for you guys to hear it. Until next time. Nothing is TMI when it comes to motherhood, and common doesn't necessarily mean normal. Always trust your gut and never stop advocating for the care you deserve. If you enjoyed this podcast, help it reach more mamas like you by subscribing and leaving a review on your preferred listening platform. Keep in touch with me on Instagram by following Pelvic Floor Mama. See you next time.